DC has had an interesting history in the cinematic space, particularly in comparison to Marvel. With early outings of both Superman and Batman, everything truly unfolded with the start of the DCEU, with Man of Steel. Everybody has different opinions on Snyder's take, but ultimately audiences just didn't gravitate towards DC, unlike Marvel, which was dominating the market. It's honestly a shame how things went down because DC is home to such iconic characters who deserve major cinematic experiences, but it just wasn't meant to be, as it all just fizzled out. As of 2025, it has been over a decade since the last Superman movie, Man of Steel, starring Henry Cavill as Superman, which was a grittier and darker take on the character compared to the previous installments. Whether you enjoyed it or not, it undoubtedly set the tone for Snyder's vision of the DC Universe because it was the first film of the universe and the main iteration of one of the lead characters. A director's vision for a character is the most integral part of an adaptation because it establishes the film's statement and purpose, especially in a wider cinematic universe. Some will agree and want this specific style of a character, while others want something completely different. This brings us to modern day, over 10 years later, to the beginning of a new universe, the DCU. With James Gunn in the same position as Snyder, now co-piloting the entire DC cinematic universe. Superman 2025, previously named Superman Legacy, is introducing the world to the new DC universe with a bright and hopeful interpretation of the superhero. And while the cinematic universe is being rebooted in July 2025, the toy side of things still has a little while to go before Mattel takes the reins of the DC license. As such, McFarlane Toys contributes to the Superman marketing campaign with an interesting assortment of products. Let's start from the weirdest stuff to the focal point of the video. First up is 3 vinyl posed figures, whatever that means, with Metamorpho to go alongside your favorite Todd's Mod Superman figure, the Baby Kaiju, and the Creature, Baby Joey. After those nightmares, we have another posed figure with a big Superman statue. That's cool, I guess. Moving away from non-movable figurines, we have some articulation with an assortment of superpowers figures with both playsets and figures. There are both single-carded and multi-pack releases, so I'll just go over the characters. Superman, Mr. Terrific, Guy Gardner, Ultraman, and Metamorpho. Then we got some playsets, consisting of Mr. Terrific's T-Craft and the Fortress of Solitude with Robot Number 4. I think the superpowers aesthetic is fun, and for those who want modernized designs in that style, then it's there. But so far, I'm noticing a pattern with these character choices, but more on that later. But now let's go over the main topic of the video, the DC Multiverse Collector's Line and the absolutely riveting 7-inch scale. Starting with the theatrical deluxes. Superman with Krypto, Lex Luthor with Baby Kaiju, Ultraman, Mr. Terrific, and Robot Number 4. Mr. Terrific and Robot Number 4 were red platinum figures, keeping the toy hunting game alive. Then we have the lovable gold label exclusives, both in the same theme, Battle Damaged Superman and Battle Damaged Ultraman. The final couple of figures are 2 commons and 1 big figure release, with Superman, Metamorpho, and Big Kaiju. That's horrific. McFarlane Toys has made a fairly large assortment of products from the film, in all major divisions, with superpowers, action figures, and the stupid pose figures. To state the obvious, there's no female characters from the movie represented in action figure form. Something Spin Master wasn't afraid to do, so it's just another masterful decision by the Todd father. But of what was released, are these any good? Unfortunately, I must admit that I did not get the Baby Joey figure because I didn't want that thing anywhere near me, and I pray for anyone who has. However, I do have the wave of DC Multiverse figures, so yeah. I am over the moon excited for the new Superman movie and desperately want a plastic representation of this new era of the DC Universe. So does Todd McFarlane's line of 7-inch DC Multiverse figures hit the mark? Well, let's find out.
Hey buddy, eyes up here.
Here is the DC Multiverse Theatrical Deluxe release of Superman, the titular character of the movie in McFarlane's 7-inch scale in a quote-unquote deluxe release. I'm not sure how well it comes across on camera, but this figure has pretty cool texturing to match the style of the real-life suit, which is neat. The colors on the suit are much more muted than everything we've seen in the trailers and posters, so it's already kinda inaccurate and we just started. Maybe this is a result of concept art, but the Spin Master figures are brighter, so I don't know. However, unlike some of the comic releases, on the cape is indeed the emblem. Moving on from design, let's go over articulation, which follows the standard McFarlane Toys layout. Starting at the bottom, there are toe hinges, ankle movement, double jointed pin knees, and upper leg movement and swivel. At the torso is a double ball joint at the waist and upper diaphragm, leading us to the arms, which have a somewhat working butterfly system, bicep cut, double jointed elbows, and wrist movement. And then finally the head moves around okay, but not well enough for a flying character. The McFarlane articulation scheme is fine, but I don't know, it always somehow looks like it could do more than it actually can. The ab crunch is not so good, but he can arch it back, so that's always fun. Flipping soups around, we have a wired cape, which is always fun. Over time, I've realized how much a wired cape improves a figure and has made me resent plastic pre-post capes, so yeah, I like the wired cape. McFarlane has a pretty bad track record of actor likenesses, and in this instance, I think it's not that bad. Not great, but I think it's a bit overhated, especially compared to what other brands have done. The out-of-the-box hands are one fist and one gripping, clawing hand, which sucks. We don't need a gripping hand. 2 fists would have been fine. Speaking of faces and hands, let's move on to the bonus accessories, which are enhanced by the Theatrical Deluxe title. For the faceplates, they have stirred quite some controversy. There's a grumpy face, an ever so slightly smirking face, and laser eyes. People have complained that these 3 expressions aren't different enough, and after a closer inspection, they are technically different, but are just absolutely ruined by the paint job. For what they tried, this is an okay assortment of expressions, but they just failed in execution. They should have been way more noticeable. Then, the last accessory for Superman is a set of flying hands. Great, couldn't mess that up. However, this is not the final accessory, as this is technically a 2-pack, because included in the set is Krypto the Superdog, a little figurine with a cloth cape. This addition is so cool. I think this is great. I think the upward ear is such a distinguishing trait from everything we've seen, so I think it's super cool. Then, to wrap things up, there's a trading card and a stand. So, yeah. If it seemed like I was super critical of this figure, is because I wanted this to be awesome. And while it's maybe an above average McFarlane figure, it's still a McFarlane figure. It works as a representation of Superman, but at least for me, this is merely just a placeholder till other companies make this version of Superman, which is already looking quite interesting to say the least. Overall, this Superman figure is alright. I'd say it's an above average figure with an okay hand assortment, albeit annoyingly mismatched, and a fine Krypto accessory, but the faces are just, it pisses me off. Because I'm so excited for this movie and this iteration of Superman, I like this figure a lot more than I probably should. So with that, despite everything, I'm gonna give it a thumbs up. But I don't know, it's Superman. I can't hate him. But this figure is not that good. It's okay.
Superman. He's not a man. He's an it.
Our first and only civilian figure from the film, and Superman's #1 hater, Lex Luthor. In terms of accuracy, he's bald, so that's already 100 points for McFarlane. However, I haven't seen Lex wear this purple outfit in any of the trailers, but he has worn a purple suit in the comics. Personally, I think this suit is fine. It's a bit cartoonishly purple, but I dig the vibe. Let's move on to articulation, which is a little bit different from the normal. Starting at the legs are toe joints, ankle movement, double jointed knees, and upper leg movement. The arms operate on a ball joint with double jointed elbows and wrist hinges. The torso is hollow and moves as a single piece, so you get full body movement as opposed to diaphragm cuts and whatnot. And the head spins around on a neck peg, but be cautious because there is a big gap beneath the head. And as we move on to the head itself, the likeness, I think it's there. I mean, it's a bald white guy, so it looks like a Lex Luthor regardless. Like Superman, this is also a Theatrical Deluxe, meaning he comes with a companion and a slightly more than average accessory count. The bonus accessories include 2 extra heads and 2 extra hands. For the baldies, we have a stern-looking, grumpy Lex Luthor head and a cocky grin face. The upset expression is nice, but the grin is funnier, and I think it's great. As for the hands, this figure comes with 2 gripping hands, a "To be my X-Men" hand, and 1 fist. The trigger hands with no gun is strange, but I think DC is very particular with guns with the action figures, so maybe it ain't all McFarlane's fault about that. And we have seen Lex hold a gun in one of the trailers, so it's accurate. There's no gun. The companion piece of this is the baby kaiju, presumably the infant version of the big kaiju. We haven't seen this creature in any of the trailers, so I can't comment on accuracy or anything, but I will say I don't like the look of it. It's hideous. The final accessory are the stand and trading cards, so here's those if you're curious. Overall, this Lex figure is pretty good for a civilian character. As far as I know, he isn't going around hitting the 3-point landing pose in the movie, so it works for the evil billionaire action figure representation. I'm glad we got a civilian character in the wave, though he shouldn't have been the only one, but what can you do? Overall, it's an evil bald guy with a pretty okay action figure. Okay. Our next figure is Ultraman. No wait, not that one. This one. Arguably one of the more secretive characters of the film. In the comics, he's an evil doppelganger version of Superman, and judging from the trailers, he can match him in power, so that's pretty cool. But back to the figure, let's judge its appearance. In the trailers, the suit appears much more black, and this figure is a dark purple. This could be concept art shenanigans, or maybe I'm a teensy bit colorblind, but the suit looks more black and gray in the trailers. But I think the purple color looks cooler on the figure. So besides color, this figure has all the crazy detail panels and lines from the movie suit, so it's accurate on that front. But enough about looks, how does he move? Well, I guess his power level isn't the only thing similar to Superman, since they both have the same articulation scheme. To go through this quickly, we have toe joints, ankle movement, double jointed knees, upper leg movement, double ball jointed waist and upper diaphragm cut, weak butterfly joints, bicep cut, double jointed elbows, wrist movement, and a ball joint for the head. Speaking of head, like with Superman, the texturing is really nice, but for Ultraman, he cannot #look up. As for the accessories, this Theatrical Deluxe comes with 4 sets of hands, 2 open palms, 2 clawing hands, 2 fists, and 2 trigger fingers. Like, come on. The worst part is that the details on the hands are sculpted on, so these are like uniquely sculpted hands. This figure is fine. To be completely honest, I don't know much about Ultraman, and I especially don't know much about this interpretation of Ultraman, and I think I like the more purple color of the figure than the black and gray suit from the actual film. He comes with a trading card with some lore, so maybe it'll tell us some more information about him. Okay, what the hell is this? Well, now we've got Lex's team, minus someone else. So, who's next? Another character in the new Superman movie is Metamorpho, who is another character we've seen very little about in all the trailers. But apparently his presence is big enough to warrant an action figure, so here he is. There's no real images of him out there besides a crop selection, but judging from what I can see, he looks accurate. McFarlane usually does pretty well with the more creature-based characters, besides whatever the hell this thing is. And I have to say, the texturing on this figure is pretty cool. The rocky texture is pretty nice and doesn't hinder any movement, which we'll go over in a bit, but spoiler alert, it's nothing special. If any screen accuracy hooligans are to nitpick, judging from this one image, his shorts are inaccurate, but I honestly don't care about such a small detail. With that down, let's take a gander at the articulation setup. Toe joints, ankle joints, double jointed knees, leg movement, double ball joints at the waist and upper diaphragm cut, butterflies, bicep cut, double jointed elbows, wrist pegs, and all around neck movement. Taking a closer look at the head sculpt, the details of the scales and texture on his head is there, and I can't lie, it looks pretty cool. And since he's more creature-like instead of a human-looking person, the likeness is fine, but I think his eyes are just so sad. Now, unlike the other figures in this line, Metamorpho is not a Theatrical Deluxe, and instead just a common release, so he has less accessories, and in this case, only a set of fists and open clawing concoction-making hands, which, to give Todd some credit, is featured in the character poster, so bravo. Then for some juicy lore, he has the trading card and display stand. Fun for the whole family. McFarlane didn't do too bad with Metamorpho. I like texturing a lot, and besides that, it's fine. Well, now we have all these villains and one probably morally questionable villain. Superman may need some assistance. If only there was someone with 2 spheres to help him out. Now that's terrific. Next up is the Platinum Red McFarlane Red Sticker Platinum Chase figure, Mr. Terrific, our first and only member from the Justice Gang. Putting that comment aside for now, let's take a look at the figure, which I gotta say looks cool and accurate. The black and white outfit, the lettering on the sleeves and the back, it's terrific. There's even the molded Justice Gang emblem on the suit beneath the jacket. Enough of the glazing of accuracy, let's take a look at the articulation, which is similar to Lex's articulation layout. Starting at the bottom are toe joints, ankle movement, double jointed knees, upper leg movement, a hollow full torso movement, ball joint shoulders, bicep cut, double jointed elbows, wrist movement, and head movement on a ball joint. Nothing outstanding, but a fair range of articulation. Moving on to the head sculpt, and damn, looks like he's mewing, but it also has a fair enough likeness. Alongside the figure are theatrical deluxe accessories, which include more faceplates and hands. For the faceplates, there is a ever so slight smirking expression, an angry face, and my goodness, a smiling face. Now that's terrific. These faceplates are great, a super cool assortment of expressions. I only wish the main character of the movie got this treatment as well. For the hands, there is a set of T-Spear holding hands. I'm glad they included this, but a cooler system to have them flying around using like flight stands or something would have been a little cooler. And the bonus set of hands are, you guessed it, trigger hands. Not even a pair of fists or anything. Nope, this is what you get. Oh, and also the trading card. Of all the figures in the wave, Mr. Terrific is definitely one of my favorites. And honestly, it's because of the unique faceplates. The easily distinguishable expressions add a lot of personality and character to the figure. I don't get why Mr. Terrific is the only member of the team we have. Todd's reluctance to make female figures aside, no Guy Gardner? Really? He's got a superpowers figure but not a mainline figure? Regardless of that, this Mr. Terrific figure is terrific. Definitely a highlight of the wave.
Take me home. Krypto. Home.
Our final figure of this review is Robot, number 4. I don't know why it's not called that on the box. As a part of the top tier Red Circle Platinum Sticker McFarlane Red Sticker Chase collection. The perfect army builder as a chase figure. Quite the masterful play by the Toddfather. Beginning the examination, this looks really accurate to the on-screen appearance of the robots, so thank God. I mean, it even has a number 4 on it, so I know which one it is. Jokes aside, I like the metallic sheen on the blue, and the details of the machinery all over the body is really nice. Moving on from accuracy, let's go over articulation, in which this figure has the most unique setup, but I'll let you decide if it's a good unique or a bad unique. Starting at the legs are ankle hinges, single jointed knees, thigh cut, and upper leg movement. There is an ab crunch in the torso, ball joint shoulders, single jointed elbows, and wrist movement. Then finally the head moves on a ball joint neck. Now, I don't know what crazy shenanigans these robots get into during the film, but I don't know. I think considering the design and what they are, the articulation isn't that bad. And in case it doesn't satisfy you, it has a wired cape. Besides having a silly little red sticker, this is also a theatrical deluxe, so it comes with just a little bit more. But before that, to quickly take a look at the out-of-box faceplate, it looks nice. The bricks on the screen look cool. Then alongside that are 3 additional faces. A cheerful expression, a squinting expression, and maybe a power off expression? Is it dead? I don't know. If I got those correct, then these are a cool assortment of expressions, and funnily enough, more easily recognizable than Superman. As for the hands, you have thumbs up, a pointing hand, and 1 fist, and nothing else. There's definitely not an extra hand that doesn't make any sense. There's also a trigger hand. And last but not least, the trading card. Honestly, for what this is, I don't think it's a bad figure. It's a good representation of a character from the film, but I think this spot should have gone to someone else. If they were hellbent on making a robot, they could have made different chess pieces with different numbers on them. They are literally an army builder. Dumb decisions aside, robot number 4 is pretty chill. James Gunn's Superman is a fresh start, a new beginning to hopefully a cinematic universe featuring some of the greatest comic book characters of all time. And with these new, exciting, and fun beginnings are the same old Todd McFarlane action figures to accompany it. Maybe I'm being too harsh, or not harsh enough. Maybe I was too overhyped or hopeful that these figures would be special, and granted, they aren't bad, but they should have been better. The vibe I get from most McFarlane collectors is that it's a toxic relationship. You get them because it's all you got. Yes, there are brave soldiers who wait for the Mayfix figures, but you know damn well they ain't ever gonna make a Captain Carrot or Rainbow Batmans. So you settle for who did. As Todd's tenure on the DC license wraps up, I'm happy to move on from this style of action figures. As of this video, we don't really know what Mattel is going to do with the DC license, but everyone is on their hands and knees begging for 6-inch action figures, and I'm right alongside them. To bring this back to Superman, and despite everything, I'm still glad I have these figures and have their representation of the new film. As a fan, it has been a long journey to this new Superman film and a new DC universe, so regardless of whatever happens, I'm happy to have that plastic representation of this new era, even if it's by Todd McFarlane. But I will swap teams whenever the Mafex drops, just making that completely clear right now. Overall, these figures are fine. Some of them are a little better than others, but the bar was low. Well, that's all I got. Go watch Superman. Bye.